If you ever feel like you're spending way too much time on calls with people who don't become clients, then today's podcast episode is perfect for you. Because today we're going to talk about how to qualify prospects. We're going to talk about how to qualify prospects before the call. So you stop wasting time on the wrong people and you only speak to those who are serious about getting HR solutions for them and their business. As a quick preview, what we're going to talk about is what qualifying is, why it's crucial, the pitfalls to avoid when you actually start qualifying, how to actually qualify, and when you should be qualifying. And stick around to the end because I've got a resource that's going to help you with your qualifying so you get it right every single time. Now, as ever, it's good to start these things off with a definition. So let's start there. What is qualification? Qualification is making sure that a prospect is the right fit for you before you start spending time with them on a call. So it's all about filtering before the conversation, not trying to convince people who are never going to buy from you. So, I mean, imagine that you were a recruiter. You wouldn't interview just anyone for a job, right? The same logic applies here. So recruiters get CVs, they get people to apply for jobs. That's the same thing that we're doing here. When someone gets into your DMs and says, hey, I need your help, your response shouldn't be, great, let's jump on a call. Your response should be, well, hang fire, what is it? What are we talking about here, right? You're going to talk to these people about what it is that they're going through before you get them on a call. You're going to understand a little bit of the lay of the land before you get on a call. And, you know, the reason that we're going to do this, as we'll soon see, there are loads of advantages that we will come on to. But one of the bigger reasons that we should do this is because this is the mark of an expert. You know, people like Richard Branson or, you know, anyone else for that matter, you know, who's a CEO or someone high flying, an expert in their field, they don't just take meetings with anybody and everybody. They, you know, they're quite standoffish, right? They protect their time. And you need to do the same thing. Getting on a call with anybody and everybody who flutters their eyelashes at you is a bad idea. You're going to end up spending a lot of time interacting with people who aren't necessarily right for you or for your business, and you might not even be able to help them. And you'll have got on the call with them. It's been a complete waste of your time. So that's what qualifying is all about. There are many advantages. We'll come on to them shortly, but qualification, in short, is making sure that a prospect is the right fit for you before you invest any time with them on a call. So yeah, in terms of the advantages of qualifying prospects before we get on a call with them, there are advantages. You can save your time, you can save your energy, you can save money, it leads to better clients, and it could potentially generate income for you. So let's take a look at these step by step. Firstly, how does qualifying people before you get on a call with them help you save time? Well, it's quite obvious, really, isn't it? You don't waste any time on pointless calls with people who you can't help, who you know get this immediate icky feeling that you don't want to help them. And there's no more calls with people who just want to kind of pick your brains, you know. They can see that you're a HR consultant, they can see that you're an expert, and they're like, oh, well, I'll just ring them up and just, you know, see what they think about this that I want to do, or that I want to do. There's none of that anymore. They contact you and say they've got a problem. Can we get on a call and discuss it? And you say, yeah, great. You know, a call's certainly an option, but for now, tell me about this problem, or what is it about this problem? And then you're going to get them to tell you a little bit about it. You're not going to go fact finding, you're not going to go too deep into it, but you want them to share a bit of information with you. And we're going to get on to how to do that, what strategic questions to ask, etc., very shortly. But for now, the idea that you want to embed in your brain is that you do not just get on a call with anybody and everybody who flutters their eyelashes at you. Next, as we said earlier, you're going to save your energy. So you're going to avoid getting frustrated. You're not going to be wasting time on people who are not prospects for you. You're going to have all that energy instead of getting on a call with someone and using your brain to try and figure out what's going on. What's going to happen instead is that you're going to be focused on your work. And then as soon as you finish that piece of work, or after your 50-minute Pomodoro, then you're going to go back to that question that, that you've asked the person, and they're going to have given you an answer, and you will then have the next question to ask them. So also, in terms of saving money, so you won't be wasting time on people who aren't the right fit for you, or you can't actually help, or they're just tire kicker, or they just want to get on a call and explain their problems to you in an attempt to get free advice. You're going to save money because you're not going to waste time or wasting revenue potential. So instead of being on a call with somebody who isn't going to give you any money or who isn't the right fit for you, you could be out there actually selling yourself, actually selling your services to someone else. We only get one life, right? We only get one bit of time. We have to invest it strategically. We have to do the best job we can possibly do with that piece of time. So spending it on somebody who isn't going to give us anything is a waste of, it's a potential waste of money. It's a waste of time. And next, we've got better clients. So qualifying can lead to better clients. So the ones who show up, who are ready to engage, they're ready to invest, they are the clients that we want to spend time with on the phone. We don't want to be getting on the phone with absolutely anybody. We want to make sure that the people who are getting on the phone with us are actually engaged, they're actually looking for solutions to their problems. And we're going to do that by asking them questions, right? We're going to make them jump through a few hoops before they get a chance to speak to us. And the last benefit that I talked about is that it can actually potentially earn us money. So one of the things that we're going to talk about in terms of qualifying is that you can actually charge for these calls. You can say to people, yeah, it sounds like I might be able to help you. The price of the call is XYZ. You can make your payment over here. And we'll come on to this shortly about, the way to phrase this, when to do this, when not to do this, the potential pitfalls to look out for. But there is nothing wrong with a potential call that you are charging for. If they want advice, why should they get advice for free? You're an expert. An expert would charge for their time, would charge for their advice, right? You need to be the exact same way. A while ago, just to bring this example to life, a while ago I had a bad back, and I found a clinic in Manchester. I can't remember what they were called, it doesn't matter, but I sent them a few WhatsApp messages. They responded and said, oh, tell us about your pain a little bit. I told them, they came back with, yeah, come in for an appointment. The initial setup is 70 quid or whatever. Here's the payment details. Guess what? I made the payment because I was actually interested in getting a solution. If I was just interested in getting advice or kicking tires or, finding out about them, then I wouldn't have made that payment. And they wouldn't have, they've saved time by asking me all these questions and then sending me a payment link. You need to do the exact same thing. If the pain is real for somebody, if they want a solution, if they're messaging you and they want a solution to their HR problems, they are going to make the payment to get the advice from you, aren't they? Why wouldn't they? And we will talk about when and if to do this. But for now, I want you to think of that as a good possibility for you and for your world. Okay, so we've talked about what the benefits are of qualification, of qualifying people before we get on a call with them. Now you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, yeah, that sounds all right. So let's flip over the script and let's talk about what happens when you don't qualify, right? Because there's a big chance that most of you who are listening along to this don't actually qualify your prospects before you get on a call with them. So what does that mean? That means that you're taking calls with anyone and everyone. I mean, you don't know if you can help them before you invest time and effort and mental energy. And that means that, that you're speaking to absolutely anyone and everyone. So when they contact you and you say, yes, absolutely, please, let's get on a call immediately. And you're saying, I'm eager to get on a call. What you're actually saying is, I'm available. I don't have any standards. Anybody can book a call with me. I'll work with anyone. You're not positioning yourself as the expert HR consultant that you are. So, yeah, that doesn't put you in the best negotiating position when it comes to quoting your fees. It also doesn't put you in a great position when it comes to your positioning. You're just like any HR consultant out there. You're eager to get on a call. You've got time. You don't have that many clients. Your time isn't that valuable. it's not a good way to run your life or your business. The next thing's about, well, qualification and what can potentially go wrong. So you could potentially be ignoring red flags. So if somebody contacts you, says they want to chat, you say, yeah, let's get on a call. And yeah, you're potentially ignoring those red flags. And I know why you do this, because maybe you need the work, maybe you need the prospects, maybe you just want to, make sure that those red flags are actually red flags. But, when you get that icky feeling in your stomach, that says this person is not good for you, you get the sense that they're a potential walking, talking employment tribunal. These people should not be giving your time. You shouldn't be giving them your energy. So don't ignore those red flags. Don't get on a call with anyone and everyone. And if you do get on a call with them and they do, they are a walking, talking red flag, acknowledge that feeling in your stomach and end the call. Get away from this person as fast as possible. Now, another potential pitfall of qualifying is when you don't actually know what you're doing very early on when you start out on this process, there's a good chance that you might qualify too hard. So I've done this before. I've done this on a couple of occasions where I've qualified too hard and I've lost the lead. They've said, you know what, I don't understand what's happening, blah, blah, blah. They've gotten frustrated. I didn't know exactly what I was doing or why I was doing it. I was just doing what I thought was right. And ultimately, I scared people away. Now, that's not to say that qualifying people before you get on a call with them is a bad idea. It just means that I was doing it the wrong way. And that meant that I lost the lead. But at least I learned the lesson of what not to say. And the final potential pitfall is assuming instead of asking. So just because somebody seems, or comes across that they are a bad fit or a good fit, they might actually not be, right? So you need a simple process, you need a script to figure that out. So when you get on a call, before you get on a call, you need to know what you should or shouldn't be saying to understand this person and their world. Once you've got that script, once you've got that understanding of what qualification is and why you should be doing it, then you don't need to assume anymore. You won't be getting on a call with anyone and everyone. You will become the expert HR consultant that you are. Okay, so now we understand what qualifying is. We know why we should be doing it. We know what to watch out for when we actually start doing it. Let's get into the meat of it. Let's talk about how to actually qualify prospects. So there's 2 steps to this process. The first step is when you're DMing, or potentially if you've cold called them. But in theory, this is, for most of you, this will be when they have DM'd you, or you've DM'd them, or perhaps they've responded to some sort of LinkedIn post, or they've responded to one of your direct mails, who knows. But before you get on a call, right, you are going to be sending them some questions, the goal of which is to gauge how serious they are and if they have a real problem that you can actually solve. Now, what you're going to be looking out for here is engagement. How engaged are they in these questions? Are they taking forever to respond, or are they quickly replying? Are there clear problems? Are they clear on what these problems are? Is there a willingness to talk? Are they willing to engage with you? And is there any urgency? Or are they just fact-finding for a potential project which might be a month or 2 down the line? Right? We don't want to be getting on a call with someone who's, doing a bit of fact-finding for their boss because they may potentially want to hire a HR consultant in a few months. No point getting on a call with them just yet, right? It could be a waste of time. So in terms of what we could be saying while we're having these DMs conversations. So, we want to know which problem that they want to talk about. We want to talk about how long they've experienced that problem. We want to know what the consequences are of that problem. So what does it cost the business? Does it cost them staff or finances, engagement, anything along these lines? If they've tried other solutions, what those solutions have been, all that good stuff. And once we completely understood the situation, not fact finding as such, but a bit more, let's say, getting to the crux of the situation, the true, honest understanding of the world, that's when we say to them, okay, here's my Calendly, book yourself in. Or, we'll get onto this, but you might want to be charging for this call. It depends what they say. And we will come onto this shortly when I start talking about how, considering charging for the strategy calls. Either way, once you've understood the situation a bit better, once you've made them jump through a few hoops, once you've checked their engagement, etc., how much they're willing to talk to you, that's when you start to get on a call with them, all right? Next, we're going to think about what happens when you're on the call with them. So once you're on the call with them, now it's time to understand their world and to see if they are truly a fit. So one of the key tips that I always say is, have the start of the call, have a bit of a chin wag, about where they are, where they're from, what their, what the weather's like, where they are, etc., and then get down to business. So you can start this off with, listen, thanks for taking the time for this call today. Do you mind if we get started? Great. Now, just to start things off, first thing to say is, if you get bored of hearing me and my voice, you can just say no at any time. We can stop. I promise you I won't take any offense. And they'll say, okay, no problem. And you say, by that same token, if I get the sense that we're butting heads, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say this isn't for me. You're not going to get annoyed with me, are you? And they're going to say, no, of course not, Nick. And then you're going to get into the crux of the call. But what we're initially doing is we're setting out what's going to happen on the call, and we're giving everybody an out if they're uncomfortable at any stage. This removes the pressure of the call. This keeps the call focused. This sets things up in the right way. Equally, you're going to be taking charge of the call, so you're going to be the expert. So now you're on the call with them. It's time to understand their world. It's time to understand what's important to them. So once you've set the scene, as it were, it's time to get to the hit points. What we want to understand is, what problems do they experience in their business from a HR perspective? What's going on in their world? And what we're listening out for is the problem, so that you can say at the end of it all, once they've monologued you, you can say, correct me if I've got this wrong, but the reason that we're talking today is blah, blah, blah. Now, if for some reason, if they haven't stated the problem, you're going to have to go, can I ask a blunt question? Things sound great. Why are we talking today? Now, that's unlikely to happen because you've gone through the questions with them in the DM section or email or whatever it is. You've understood their world. So you've got them on a call. You're asking them about their HR world. If they don't tell you there's a problem, you're going to have to be blunt. But if they do state the problem, you're going to have to say, so I'm hearing you right. The reason that we're talking is X. And then you're going to have to get them to justify this problem. So it's easy for them to say it's a problem, but why is this a problem? Let's get them talking about this. Let's get their pain out on the table and help them to understand what it is that's going on in their business and why it's a problem. Right? This might sound a little bit manipulative. I'm sorry if you think that, but in reality, your clients, your leads, they will thank you for this, because this is an opportunity for them to talk to a trusted confidant and tell you what their problems are. Ultimately, as well, back when you were in the Monday to Friday, the 9 to 5, if you're, the factory manager or whoever it was wherever it was that you worked, they came to you and said, listen, Joe, we've got a problem. And they'd start talking to you about this problem. You wouldn't feel manipulative to say, all right, okay, and what's going on then? Why is this an issue? Help me understand. You'd just be having a conversation. And that's the same way that you want to approach this. They've told you there's a problem. You need to understand, well, why is it a problem? Why is that a problem that, Clifford doesn't come to work? What does that mean for you in your business? When you're speaking to John, the toilet paper factory manager, whatever it is, Clifford doesn't come to work. Why is that a problem? What difference does it make whether Clifford comes in? Get him to tell you, get the prospect to justify that this is actually a problem that they want to solve. Next, you're going to be asking them what happened when they tried to fix it. So what happened when they tried to fix this issue? Chances are, before they've got on a call with you, they've asked ChatGPT or rung some sort of helpline or something, ACAS perhaps, and they said, I've got this issue. How do I solve it? And chances are they're going to tell you this. Oh, well, we tried this, we tried that. It didn't go so well. Oh, right. Okay. That's when we realize that they've got a problem. They've tried to solve it. What we've understood now is they've got a problem. It matters. They've tried to fix it themselves, and now they want some help. This is when we're getting to the reality of the situation. They've tried everything. It hasn't worked. Now they're asking for the expert help. They're admitting that they need help. Now, at this stage, there are two potential outcomes. And one potential outcome is that you've charged for this call and you are going to say to them, listen, I'm going to go away and I'm going to create a solution for you and tell you how we're going to solve this problem. If you haven't charged for this call, you're going to say, listen, I'm going to go away, I'm going to think about this for 24 hours or so, and I'm going to come back to you with a potential solution. Alternatively, you might want to play a little bit hard to get and say, listen, I'm going to go away for 24 hours. I'm going to think about whether or not this is definitely something that I can help you with, definitely something I want to help you with, or whether or not that you should, one of my fellow HR consultants would be better placed to solve this problem for you. Create a little bit of hard to get, right? It's not manipulative. This is the reality. You want them to be wanting to work with you. You don't want to be too eager. You don't want to be too easy. Either way, you want to end the call once you've understood their world, and you want to say, you're going to hear back from me within the next 24 hours. Sound fair? And they're going to say yes, and you're going to say, thank you for your time. What are you doing for the rest of the afternoon? What are you doing for the rest of the evening? Blah, blah, blah. And you're going to end up on a little bit of rapport. This is really important. You want them to leave the call with a positive feeling. People will remember the fact that you've listened. They'll remember the fact that they've invested a lot of time and effort into this call. They'll remember the fact that they've shared all their problems and feel like they've been understood. And you want them to leave with a positive feeling so that they then walk away saying, whew, that was great. Stephanie really took the time to listen to me there. She really understands my problems. She seems like a really nice person. I hope she comes back to me with a potential solution. So hopefully that sounds really good. You understand what I'm talking about. The bit that you might not understand is the bit when I was talking about potentially charging for the call. So let's circle back. Let's look at what that situation is. So remember when you were DMing with this person before you got on a call. Now, depending on what information they've shared with you, that is going to dictate whether or not you should be charging for their call or whether or not the call should be free. And the reason for this is one of two things is either going to happen. Either A, you're going to be moving them towards a sales call, or B, you're going to be moving them towards creating a bespoke solution for them. Either way, your next step will be a call like we've just discussed, but the next step after that will either be you're going to create a proposal for them, or you're going to take them onto a sales call and sell them whatever package that you have. So not all calls should be free. Sales calls, yes. Strategy sessions, power hours, whatever you want to call them. If you've taken them through a call where you've understood their problems and you're going to go away and you are going to create a solution for them and then bring that solution to them, you need to charge for that. That's your time. That's your expertise. You're going to be, understanding the situation and you're going to bring them a bespoke solution. Absolutely, you should be charging for that. Now, in terms of what to actually charge, you should be charging your actual hourly rate. So you've already given, you're giving high value advice. Why would you give it away for free? Whatever it is that your hourly rate is, that's how much you should be charging for a call where you understand their situation, you go away and then come back to them and present a solution to them. One thing that you might want to consider is making it easy to book this call, right? So you can add a buy button on your website. That way only serious prospects can pay, well, not only serious prospects. That way serious prospects can pay and schedule instantly. So if you're having a DM tennis match with them, and you say, listen, I've understood your situation, I can help you. Here's a link to my buy page. That will enable you to get enable you to convert a lead into a client, and you won't even have spoken to them, have invested any time, well, not any real time. You will obviously have invested a few DMs, etc., but you will have converted a lead into a client. At this point, some people may not book a call. You know what? That's okay. They were a time waster. They were a tire kicker. They don't want to pay for your advice. They don't want to pay for your time. That's okay. They're not the prospects for you. But if you are going to invest your time and effort into them, you should absolutely be paid. Now, in order to help with conversions, you want to offer a refundable option. So if they decide to work with you, and you can create your own messaging around this, if they decide to work with you, that fee that they've paid gets deducted from their package. And if you realize that you can't help them for one reason or another, you refund them. So that keeps things risk-free. The reality is you can always help them, because if you've gone through the DM table tennis match where they've gone back and forth and you've understood their world, then you can help them. So that removes that option. So no problem. And if they decide to work with you, then you've more or less already got a deposit, haven't you? The best part, even if they decide, that your solution isn't right for them, they are still their client. They have given you money. You have not wasted your time. You have not given your time away for free. You've still been paid. So if they decide to go elsewhere to look for a solution, hey ho. And as I shared earlier on, if this person is a real potential client, if they will be willing to pay to get a solution to their problem. Earlier on, I shared the story about me having a bad back. Did I pay for an appointment before I'd even met anyone? Absolutely. My back pain was killing me. I wanted a solution. So when they sent me a buy button and said, give us, I think it was 70 quid or something, and you can have an appointment, I made that payment immediately. And it's the same for you, for your leads, for your clients. If they have real HR problems, they want your help, then you have to check whether or not they're ready and willing to invest in a solution. And if they are ready and willing to invest in a solution, well, you'll know because they'll make the payment. Okay, so let's wrap things up. Qualification, what is it? Qualification is making sure before you get on the call with somebody that you can help them and you get a bit of an inkling about whether or not you want to help them. Then, once you're on a call with them, you are answering 3 questions, whether or not you want to help them, whether or not you can help them, whether or not they're ready and willing to invest in a solution with you. So that will come out in a few questions that you can ask when you are talking to them. Alternatively, if you have gone through a DM situation and you understand that you can provide some sort of bespoke solution for them, then you will work out whether or not they're ready and willing to invest in you, because you will have sent them to a pay page where you will have said, here's the cost for the call, make the payment, we'll get on a call, blah, blah, blah. You'll phrase it nicer than that, but that is ultimately what you're going to be saying to them. Ultimately, you don't want to be wasting any more time on proposals, long emails, deep dives, long calls with anybody who doesn't go through your qualification process. This is every single time, no exceptions. And if it's right, charge them for your time. Overall, if you've been taking calls with anybody who breathes, anybody who flutters their eyelashes at you, it's time to change that. You're an expert. Charge for your time if appropriate. Make sure you can help them before you get on a phone with them. Don't allow your contact details onto the internet willy-nilly for absolutely anybody to call you. And start qualifying. It's the fastest way to stop dealing with tire kickers and start talking to serious prospects. And if you want any more information on this, then go and grab a copy of my book from my website. There are 2 full chapters dedicated to talking about qualifying so that you can understand what it is. You'll have scripts. You'll be able to qualify prospects like a pro. So go over to the Influential Consultant website. Go and grab your copy today. In the meantime, I hope this has been helpful. And as ever, get marketing, because without marketing, there's no sales. And without sales, there's no business. So get marketing.